El Dorado grad MJ McFarland apologizing for what got him cut from the team. This one has you talking like, Greg, wow, a chance of a lifetime to play college football with potential NFL opportunities, and you mess it up. We will also see you on the CW because you're talking about the upcoming UTEP basketball season and a look back at a game that was supposed to commemorate the national championship. You're calling the new season lame.
I and my staff continue to experience significant hostility, indifference, and the creation of obstacles by this department.
Sheriff Kiki Vigil has made it clear that the lawsuits surrounding Doña County need to stop. What he's saying tonight, and just days after that deadly shooting in Tennessee, the governor of Texas wants to arm all guardsmen at military facilities across the state. Nichole, it's raining outside.
It is raining on the west side and heavier storms on the east side. We'll take a closer look coming up in Storm Track weather.
It's all next on ABC-7 at 9. Get ready. You become part of the day's news right now.
Live, where news comes first. From the Mesilla Valley at Las Cruces to El Paso and the borderland. This is ABC-7 at 9 on the El Paso Las Cruces CW.
How goes it, everybody? Thanks so much for joining us here in ABC-7 at 9 on the CW. I'm Bob Harp, and I'll have all the top stories and what you're saying about them coming up tonight in social media.
And I'm Nichole Gomez. I'm tracking what you're saying. I'm also tracking showers and storms across the borderland. But first, we want to take you outside the west side of town, I should say, I-10 and Executive, where you can see traffic not a problem, but the roads are definitely slick out there. So the west side of town already seeing some rain, but I also want to take you over to Doppler radar, where you can see the east side around Edgemere, Pebble Hills. We're seeing some of the heavier rainfall track towards the east in that area. But coming up in just a bit, we'll track some of these storms, and I'll let you know if you're expected to see any rain coming up in just a bit. Bob?
All right, thanks so much, Nichole. Well, there is a storm a-brewing, if you will, in the UTEP football program. UTEP will not have tight end MJ McFarland this upcoming season. Our sports director, Danny Mata, tweeting this earlier today. Tight end MJ McFarland will not play this season after failing drug test, per coach Sean Kugler. Coach Kugler gave us the news earlier today. So much was expected from McFarland. He had an opportunity to have a dominating season. Remember, he transferred from Texas, but he's a hometown kid. He went to El Dorado High School, but again, he's not playing for UTEP this season as planned.
We have specific rules on our team, and he broke those rules. So I feel sorry for the young man. He's an excellent young man. He made a poor decision, and he'll have to live with that this year, but we move on.
Now again, MJ graduated from UT. He had 1 year of eligibility left and is not eligible to return next year. McFarland, though, also took to social media tweeting this. Just to clarify, I failed an NCAA drug testing due to a banned substance that I was not aware of. I took a supplement that was supposed to help aid the process of coming back from a concussion I received during spring ball. It was not used to enhance performance due to the fact I was on bed rest for 2 weeks, trying to heal and get back to the norm. That is, however, rules are rules, and I am currently suffering the consequences. McFarland also apologized to the university, and fans will have that, plus what you at home are saying about this a little bit later in this newscast. Moving on now, federal investigators are looking for a motive in last week's attack on 2 military facilities where 5 unarmed service members were gunned down. They're hoping a collection of writings reportedly found inside the Chattanooga gunman's home shed light on why he did it. Meanwhile, Texas Governor Greg Abbott authorized the carrying of weapons at Texas National Guard facilities. But at Army posts like Fort Bliss and recruiting centers across the country, they're still not allowed to arm themselves. Recruiters aren't telling us much, but we did speak with some Fort Bliss soldiers and El Paso business owners.
I think we should just remain vigilant at all times and not get complacent. You never know when things like that is going to happen, so as soldiers we just need to remain vigilant.
Doesn't worry you that they don't have guns?
Yes, they worry me don't have guns because they have to protect yourself.
Again, we did try to speak with recruiting stations here in El Paso, but they are hesitant to speak with us. It is no secret Sheriff Kiki Vigil has no problem calling attention to what he says are problems within the Doña County government.
If a private citizen were to bounce out of mountain checks, They would be prosecuted for check fraud.
Well, that was the sheriff last Wednesday complaining about the clerical errors that left his department cashing reimbursement checks that did not clear. Also last week, a jury found Doña County wrongfully fired an internal affairs investigator. Kim Stewart reported on allegations of ethnic discrimination within animal control and codes enforcement. And then she got the boot. A jury awarded Stewart $1.2 million. So now Sheriff Vigil is saying he sees similarities between the way his department is being treated and the way former Doña County employee Kim Stewart was treated.
HR is broken. Human resources is broken. Well, if they're saying HR is not broken, why did it cost the taxpayers, the county commissioner, $1.2 million?
Sheriff is saying if the county government isn't broken, why'd they have to pay $1.2 million for it? Well, Doña County tells us there will be a closed session tomorrow to talk about the Stewart verdict and their options of moving forward. The county has not yet made an appeal there. Hey, if you're heading out west on I-10 out toward California, you need to listen to this. Leave a few hours earlier and grab a pen and paper right now. We have some detour information you need to know about. I-10 is completely shut down near Palm Springs, all the way to the Arizona state line. A 30-foot section of a bridge above the freeway collapsed over the weekend, and heavy flooding is to blame. A driver was trapped inside their car for 2 hours until finally being pulled out. We do know that engineers spent all day today assessing the damage. I-10 is going to stay closed until further notice. California highway officials only saying, quote, a long time. Okay, here's that information you want to write down if you're heading out that way. If you're driving on I-10 out toward California, take Arizona Route 95, then California 62. And that will take you all the way back around following that yellow line down to I-10. Or you could take the southern route, exit US 95, then go south to I-8, and then I-8 up to California 111, which will take you all the way back up toward I-10. So any of you family vacationers heading out to Disneyland or something like that, you have to take that alternate detour for just a little while. ABC-7 and TxDOT with live traffic coverage for you tonight here in El Paso. This is the rain that is falling in downtown. You see the roads are slick. Those lights flashing are TxDOT crews that will be closing the freeway yet again because of construction that's happening there. So not emergency crews. Just be aware if you are taking I-10 west through downtown, that will be closed because of construction, not the rain. Speaking of, let's go back to the Storm Track Weather Lab. Nichole, you have our first forecast. How long is this rain sticking around?
It looks like it's going to stick around this evening, and we still have the possibility of more rain for tomorrow, but we're expecting some changes by the middle of the week. So we'll get to that in just a few minutes. But let's talk about Doppler radar. We're seeing those scattered showers and storms tracking mainly towards the east. So we'll zoom in a little closer, as you just saw on our TxDOT traffic cameras. The west side of town already seeing some of that rain, downtown, so central, and as you can see around Fonseca Drive and Cielo Vista, Viscount Boulevard, we're also seeing some of that moderate rainfall. But the bulk of that moisture is again moving towards the east along I-10, George Dieter, and we'll head towards Zaragoza and Edgemere. We can see a lot of the yellows, darker greens, and a little earlier a lot of the reds were popping up, showing us that's where the heaviest rainfall was falling. But I'm going to throw on the tracker here, and you can see the direction of the storm. Around 9:33, we could see more rain for Butterfield. Now, our future track model, again, showing us most of the rainfall is still towards the east, but again, the lower valley could also continue to see rain through the 11 o'clock hour and Las Cruces as well. So around 3 o'clock in the morning, it shows that we will begin to dry out, but we'll continue to track that. So coming up, more storms possible tonight and tomorrow, but drier air will move in later this week. We'll talk about what you can expect the rest of your work week coming up in just a bit. Bob?
Okay, thanks so much for that, Nichole. We do appreciate that. And this is how you connect with us in social media. Just look up CU on the CW on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and like us while you're there. We hope you like us, and we want you to get involved in the discussions. Of course, KVIA.com on Facebook is where a lot of this is happening. Now, Nichole, I know you are a fan of the UTEP basketball team, so let's talk about that big game against Kentucky that will not be happening.
Bob, we're coming up on the 50th anniversary of when Texas Western, now UTEP, beat Kentucky for the national championship. It even inspired the movie Glory Road.
Yep, UTEP coach Don Haskins, as we all remember, was the first coach to start 5 black players, and the UTEP hoops schedule came out today. Despite attempts to make it work, there will not be an anniversary game with Kentucky. The Miners and the Wildcats never had a contract to play, so I guess it just wasn't meant to be. Now you're wondering what that looks like. Here's a look at some of the noteworthy games for the upcoming season. The season openers in November on the 14th against Loyola. A couple of weeks later, it's the Corpus Christi Coastal Classic. They are at New Mexico State on the 2nd and Washington State on the 13th. Home to the Aggies on the 19th. And they open up conference play at home to Rice on New Year's Day. Now, final game of the regular season is at home against University of Texas San Antonio. Nichole, for lack of better words, folks are calling this a lame or weak schedule.
Like Robert, who says, wow, that's a very weak non-conference schedule. And Tommy says, it's a good schedule for rebuilding a team. They're bringing in good talent. I like it. And Henry says, NIT, here we come. EPWN, the Miners will do good with this schedule. It gives them a chance to have a modest winning record in the upcoming season. And from Andy, who says, season ticket holders should be livid.
And tell us what you think. We know a lot of people are livid about this. Nichole, someone else who is livid, to say the least. Yellow Wolf. He's an artist who played Friday night at the Texas Showdown Festival here in El Paso at the County Coliseum. Are you ready for this, Nichole? Brace yourself. You ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, on his Facebook, this is what he's saying about El Paso and the festival. To the owner of the Texas Showdown Festival and the El Paso Police and promoter, blank all of you. Keep your money. We'll never play your blank fest again. Or expletive, blank, however you want to see it. I made it very nice. Yellow Wolf wrote all that because of what happened with fellow artist DJ Clever. Clever resisted arrest at the festival Friday night, and he claims law enforcement here in El Paso roughed him up. ABC-7 got a hold of the complaint affidavit. It states an El Paso County Sheriff's deputy says the DJ, whose real name is Josh Winkler, was drunk and out of control backstage. The deputy says Clever swung at someone who tried to help him. 2 officers tried to arrest him, but say he resisted. He was then taken to the county jail, and deputies say they also found a clear plastic bag with marijuana in it in one of his pockets. Look at this. This is mugshot. The DJ looked like this after his arrest, and we posted this at KVIA.com on Facebook if you'd like to take a closer look at this. So obviously he was roughed up, but whether he was fighting and resisting and they needed to subdue him, that I guess is the gray area tonight. Someone else who saw this was that artist Yellow Wolf after what he just said, Nichole, which by the way, before we get to what else he said, what'd you think about Yellow Wolf calling out authorities and the festival here?
Oh.
Right?
Well, I mean, after seeing that guy's face.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't even want to say anything.
I know, right?
Yeah,
okay, well now Yellow Wolf is giving his account of the story right now, also on Facebook, saying this. Now, Clever fell down drunk on his back, reached his hand out to get help. The promoter slapped his hand away, like really slapped his hand away, refusing to help him up. Clever raised up, reaching his hand out again, and just like that, the cops jumped on him. They slammed him shirtless to the concrete, smashed his face all up. Yellow Wolf goes on to say, if you knew him, you would know how laid back and cool he is. And every single promoter, security, festival owner refused to talk to me.
Okay, here's what some of you at home are saying, like George, who says, if you comply with orders from the police, you won't get yourself hurt. Manuel says, it's sad because there are a lot of talented bands and DJs here in El Paso, and this guy comes and does this? And Ralph says, I heard he was arrested because the music was really bad. He wouldn't stop. And Javier telling us he wanted some mad beats. I say, mission accomplished. Oh, my goodness.
Someone's cracked me up there. The DJ has supporters, though, like Gregory saying they didn't have to mess him up like that. I don't care what he did. And Jason saying, even if he was in the wrong, what gives the police the right to bust his head? We know you might have something to say now that you know this whole story. Go to our Facebook page right now and chime in. You know, we're not done with our top story tonight because you're not done with it either. Like Ricky, who's commenting, this guy was a beast coming out of El Dorado in 2010. Sad to see all that potential put to waste. He's talking about the hometown player, MJ McFarland, who went all the way out to UT, but came back to play UTEP football for his last year. A failed drug test means he's out for the season. That's coming up. Nichole, you are tracking some rain as well.
That's right. We're currently seeing some rain out there. Just how much rain are we expecting tonight and the rest of your work week? That answer in Storm Track Weather.
This is ABC 7 at 9 on the CW. You don't just watch the news here. You are the news. We'll be right back.